We're going to go over the cervical traction. And before we do this, I want to give you a little disclaimer, a little warning. The cervical traction really works in softening the ligaments, softening the necks, and it can make your posture much worse. And I'll tell you a story about a lady who we recommended. She had degeneration in her disc, recommended cervical traction, head weights, rolls, a typical thing. She set the traction up right by the garage door, and every morning before she went to work, she did her traction. When she got home at night, she did her traction, but she didn't have time for the head weights. And so you can imagine if somebody's got forward head posture and they loosen all these muscles and they warm it up with the traction and they loosen it, what is gravity going to do with that neck? It's going to push it forward. And if you're doing that every day, it's going to push it forward and forward. So this was early on when I was doing this method of chiropractic. And it was back before we had digital x-rays. They weren't instantaneous. So the lady went home and I analyzed her x-rays that night. And I had to call my instructor because I was thoroughly confused because her posture was 1.5 centimeters worse. It had gotten that much worse. And he said she's doing traction, she's not doing head weights. And when I confronted her, she said that, yes, I love the traction, it feels good, it loosens my neck, but I don't always have time for the head weights. You can't do this. The traction needs to be followed by either laying on the rolls or head weights immediately, right there. Don't just do the traction by yourself because you will make your neck worse, all right? So you've been warned. This is a great exercise, and what it does is with the up and down motion is it causes the disc to go up and down right there. And imagine if this is a sponge between my hand, and as my hand goes up like this, it's absorbing nutrients, expelling waste, absorbing nutrients, expelling waste, absorbing nutrients, expelling waste. And that repetitive motion right there is going to help that disc rehabilitate and get thicker and really get healthier right there. An example would be a degenerated disc, and there's still a disc here, but it's loose. But as that traction goes up, it pulls, it separates right there. And that motion creates a vacuum in the disc that's going to cause that disc to get thicker. So that's what we're trying to do with repetitive traction, is rehabilitate the disc, soften the ligaments and the disc right there, and warm up the muscles to prepare for the adjustment or prepare for the head weights or prepare for lying on the roll so you get a bigger change in your posture. This is not to be done to make your neck feel good and then stop with that. Let's now proceed with how to set up the traction. So you have your traction right here, and we open the box, and the first thing you'll see is this block. And you're like, what is this? This is a great addition to the traction that was invented a couple of years ago. But what it is, you'll see this part right here. This is going to go behind the door. The door is going to go right here. And over on the back, we're going to hang the traction. So what that looks like is this. You're going to go to a door. You slide it over. And I always recommend, especially if you're a bigger person, moving it to the side, because the door is stronger next to the hinges. If you're a big person, you don't want to have it hanging here. You want to have it hanging over here. And now we have this right here. And what this space does is it allows you to get directly under and pull straight up and down, versus the old one used to pull right from the crack and your face was right here. So now we're going to attach the traction to this part right here so we can get our traction going on. And before we set up on the block, there is an extra piece in there, and this is the old system without the block. You might want to use it if you can't get this to work. But the next part is we want to tie the rope to the block right here. And there's a couple different ways of doing this. It can be challenging. The way I like is to put it in here like that, put it on, and pull it a little bit snug, because I want to have it snug so I don't have to bend down as far, and then kind of mark where that is and take it off. And if you know your knots, you can come through here and get a good knot in there. It's going to slip. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're going to put it on, get your chin up there, and from here, you need to decide, the doctor will tell you, or if you're putting these together on the neck, and you'll know that because in the office, he'll have told you what to do on the traction unit in the office. Or he's gonna have it, you're gonna have it out here, and that depends on what's going on in your spine. You're gonna put this behind your neck and your chin right here. Make sure it's even. You're gonna get directly under. You don't wanna be out, you wanna be under. Spread your legs, stick your butt out, and bend your knees and look up. Bend your knees and look up. Bend your knees and look up. This is what we're looking for. A pumping motion, up and down, right there. And you're going to do that for as many times as the doctor tells you, anywhere from 30 to 60 times, typically.